I went to a funeral earlier today, and it was to witness the impending demise, or rather the final crucifixion, of the Affordable Care Act replacement, tentatively labeled the American Health Care Act, which saw two Republicans yesterday, Mike Lee from Utah and somebody else with a lesser than national profile, and three more senators today come forward. They're also from the Republican Party and state that they would not vote for this bill. So it was pulled back. Trump was spoken to today at the White House, and he said his plan now is to just let Obamacare die on its own and see to it that it reaches its demise, so that when that happens, the Democrats and everyone else who is opposed to it can come and swoop in and help to make it better when we have no health care anymore. Now, I'm not a fan of either party, but I really do applaud, because TYT covered this earlier today, and Senk made the claim that, oh, well, Rand and the two that were against it yesterday only decided to do so because it wasn't horrible enough. Well, whatever their motives, be glad that this bill, the American Health Care Act, which, depending on your age, allows for insurance companies to charge you 5 times on a given price, is not going to pass for the time being. Um, the problem is that we're in this era where it's as though things can only be crappy or worse. The Affordable Care Act, in my opinion, is crappy. The American Health Care Act, in my opinion, is diarrhea, or some higher quality of crappy, or lesser quality of good, if you could even associate that word with either with that bill. So, when you talk about cutting Medicare and Medicaid, and people on average are going to get sick at some point in their life, be they, my age or 50 or 90. And even if they are, young, as they said, the American Health Care Act was so helpful for young people because the younger you were, the smaller the price or whatever. They're going to know that they can't stop the passage of time. You're giving them an immediate solution if you're young to something that is going to have lasting or long-term implications on your life, meaning, referring to your health. And it's as though they can't comprehend this. They were just so confused. So when I went and watched the video, because I don't know why they can't just film him live speaking about his new plan. The look on President Trump's face was very amusing. I chuckled a little bit because he has to realize something. The Democrats, by and large, are not politicians with backbone, are politicians who, are so concerned or care or whatever. The only one within the current party that's currently in office, rather, that I would actually sort of get if people said had some basic level of a moral compass and would really stand up to either the majority or whatever group, would probably be Warren. Or if you want to count him, Bernie as well. But this needs to be understood as you're not going to get Democrats who really, really want votes, which is the majority of them, to agree to anything that you have to put out. Because if they really cared, by and large, there are some that obviously do. Some of those Republicans cared. That's why they didn't vote for the thing. You would have them come forward and say, okay, well, this is bad because of this. Let's try to speak about this. And if Trump really cared, he would have the multiple senators from the Democratic Party come over to the White House and speak or talk with him, or try to negotiate something at length with this very important block of people. that you need to get this passed. I really hope this just undercuts this idea that a lot of people had, that because Trump spoke like a populist, because he, claimed to be witnessing the various offenses by the federal government under the reign of Obama and everyone before him, uh, that he did not care. I really hope people understand he does not care about your health care. And I know I'm using the same word twice. You could kind of believe it on the campaign trail, but look what he did. If he really cared, he would have tried to negotiate. He would have said to these Democrats, I don't want people to be in this certain state. Let's try to find a way to put this out without cutting into Medicaid. But he didn't do that. And look, I'm not just saying it's him who's to blame for this debacle, because there are a lot of people to point fingers at. You have McConnell, you have Ryan, various officials. But the problem is when you do it toward the Democrats, you have to remember they're the minority party. When you have members of your own party that are not going to vote for something you put out, and it's not one or two people, or if it is one or two people, then you can't get it passed. That's a problem. And I didn't see any effort being made by any of these lawmakers in charge of leadership, such as Trump or McConnell, to actually try to sway people other than you need to vote for this, because if you don't, you're a traitor. You might as well go sign up for the other club that's currently in office. And the worst part about rejoicing at the demise of this bill is that I know, thanks to my little crystal ball right here, or my ability to see into the next year or so, they're going to try this again. The bill will either be worse or exactly the same, because they don't learn anything from these experiences. They don't. Because we're talking about people who have gotten away with things before and continue to get away with things. They're learning nothing. But nonetheless, this is an issue that is going to have lasting implications. I really hope that the group of people who identify themselves as Trump supporters and talk about how much they love his presidency and yada 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 can look at the fact that you had a bill here which was meant to basically say to older people, who cares about you? And to say to the young people, we care about you, and as long as you're not, going on 60, which all of us are. We're all going to, if we live, get to an age that is old. That's life. But this bill doesn't really seem to care much about life. And I'm so bothered by a recurring theme I'm seeing, which is to have one side get applause and the other side get dismissed. So, for example, Trump and they're saying he's getting so much criticism for not delivering on his pledges. It's, first 100 days and get anything passed. And then the Democrats, oh, yeah, you guys were good. Yeah, you did it. You saved us. Yeah, you got rid of the horrible legislation. No, don't give them any praise. That's not political courage. That is not having... Political courage would have been a Democrat coming forward and saying, the bill is terrible. We're going to try to make it work. And I'm going to talk to the president. If he does these things, then I'll vote for it. Government is built on compromise. And while I'm glad the Democrats didn't compromise on the fact that this thing was terrible, they also didn't compromise on having negotiations. Trump, when he talks about obstructionists, he's right. But the problem is I can't even get mad at them, because look at what the Republicans did to Obama. And I know whoever gets in there next, whether it be Biden or Bernie or Warren or Booker or Harris or whoever, which that poll from earlier today was amusing, is going to have the same problem with Republicans. They're going to remember what the Democrats did to their president, so it's going to be the reverse. And it's going to keep going that way. We're never going to get anything done. That's why the government is such a joke, at least when it comes to politics. The people in office, if you were to take all of them and just take them and put them on a boat and have them go to another island to vacation, you wouldn't see a single change in your life. And it's not because they can't do it. It's not because it's too hard. It's because they don't care. Trump did not care about all of these individuals who are poor or can't afford health care. The Republicans did not care about anyone who was older, even though a lot of them are older. The Democrats didn't care about it. The only reason they opposed this, again, is to get votes. That's it. So don't give either side courage. Be glad it's over. I'm done.